So we've all heard of Starlink for off-grid or locations with no internet, but did you know that they had a $50 a month plan? I sure didn't. So welcome back everybody. In this episode, we're over at our new river property, which has almost zero cell signal. At best, we can get 1 bar here. So for example, I just tried to run a speed test over here for reference. I couldn't even connect. It's all we can do to send out a picture. So long story short, we're not able to enjoy our property. I need internet over here for work. I make social media content to run things like security cameras, although we do have one option I'm gonna show at the end of this video that is cellular, and we have just enough signal to make it work, but we need more reliable internet here, as well as we need internet to our camper. So when we're over here working, if we want to enjoy some downtime, scroll through our phones, again, use a laptop, upload some content, listen to music, watch a little TV, we have that option. So we've all heard of Starlink. Nothing new here to show. I've got their standard kit right here. You can find these anywhere from $300 to $350, depending on where you find them and if they're on sale. They also offer a mini as well, a little small portable one. And I got this for the actual portability here to carry and use at this property as well as at our other homes, since social media is my life and how I get paid. I cannot afford the downtime. We've experienced that a lot with hurricanes and other events over the last few years. Internet lost completely. So I find the standard kit's plenty small enough for portability and carrying around. But the reason I have never invested in Starlink in the past is because their plans have been around $140 a month for a residential plan, and a portable plan is around $165 a month that allows you to roam. But that was up until a few minutes ago when I found out they offer a $50 a month plan, roam plan at that, so you don't have to have it at a single location. That works out perfect for us to carry it back and forth between 2 locations for work and those emergencies. All right, so here's the key. I'm gonna put a referral link down there. None of this is sponsored, bought and paid for myself, but I do get a free month of service. You do as well if you wanna go check out their plans and use my link down in the description. It's much appreciated. Plus we both benefit from it. So go on their website and look at their roam plans. They have 2 options. $165 a month, which is truly unlimited, and you can carry it basically anywhere except out into the open ocean. They have specific plans for that. And then you'll notice they also offer a $50 a month plan with 50 gigs. But here's the thing about these plans, you can pause them at any time, which makes them very valuable to me and maybe to you if you only do limited traveling or only need these for emergency use or at specific times like us. I was not interested in paying $140 a month for a residential plan that locks you into one location. So if you look at the roam plans, the $165 for unlimited also allows you to pause and then renew your plan instantly via their app whenever you need service back. Say you're going on that trip, you're taking the RV out, things such as that. The $50 a month plan I think is highly overrated and should be talked about more. Again, I had no idea it existed. The $50 a month caps you at 50 gigs of data, which for the majority of us, that's going to be plenty of data for light traveling and intermittent use. But there's also an option inside the app or on their website where you can opt in to additional data for the 50 gig plan. Long story short, it costs $1 per gig of data after you hit your 50 gig cap, but you have to turn on the opt-in feature. I think that's a bargain. So technically I could go up to $165 and get 165 gigs before it would ever benefit me to then have the unlimited plan. We're personally never going to use that data. We'll probably never go over the 50 gigs for $50 here, but the option does exist that you can continue to go over that. You're not just cut off. Now here's another question y'all may be having. What if you're using this, say, out in the mountains or some remote country, you're going the 50 gig plan and then you run out while you're out there and lose internet access? The cool thing is you lose all internet access except for this will still allow you to log into your Starlink account so you can opt in for that additional data. So just because you're in the back country, for example, and run out of internet doesn't mean you can't log back into your account using your Starlink and turn on the additional data and pay per gig that you use. That's a really nice feature. Now again, I got the standard size dish because it supposedly works a little better and it's much more affordable. I still find this very lightweight and portable. So should I need to come over here and grab this and carry it back home, should we experience another hurricane and major internet outage like we've experienced multiple times over the last few years, that option exists. I should mention you can also buy a whole host of mounts for these on the Starlink website, as well as additional cables. So I'm going to use the cable that come with this and permanently leave it over here at our campsite. And then I just ordered another cable this morning that I'll leave over at our other home. So all I have to do is run over here and grab this dish and the router itself, should we have a major outage, and swap them back and forth. And because I pay for the roam plan, I'm able to do that. I can go to as many locations as I want. Now on their website, I purchased up a pole mount right here, but you can get mounts for roofs, for poles, or you can just use the standard dish as is with a little fold out foot. And this is designed to go right there on the ground and work and be truly portable. We're going to be taking the ground mount off, popping this one in, and you can see it clamps on a variety size of poles right here. We're going to pound in just an old cheap metal pole and have this right behind the camper. All right, so in the standard kit, I bought mine directly off of Starlink, but I think Costco, Sam's, other places sells these as well. Sometimes you can find them on sale at those places. You're just going to get a 50-foot cable. You're going to get your router, your power supply, and a power cord. That's it. And like I said, I just ordered another one of these cables. And by the way, you can order up to a 150-foot cable on Starlink's website if you need to run this much further away from the router and power supply itself. So the proper location would be to mount the dish, say, up on the peak of this roof, looking back this direction. But because I want this to be portable or I can run over and grab it, I'm just going to drive a pole down right here, have the dish where it's very easy for me to access. I don't need to bring a ladder over here, so I can run it back to the house in times of emergency use. Now here's the thing, I'm not going to have the most perfect location. I do have some tree cover, but Starlink recommends in most locations, you need to check this out yourself, to point your dish due north. Well, it just so happens that's this location for me. And with as many satellites are in orbit now, my guess is I'm still going to get plenty of good usable internet, even though I have some tree cover here, but I'm open to the direction I need to be, due north. Now I could bury this wire and run a pole out here in the yard, but we have future construction plans right here, so I don't want it in the way. All right, whenever it comes to removing this little ground mount, all you do is grab and pinch up underneath here and pull backwards. Comes out that quick and easy. All right, this pole mount just slides and locks right in, but before we do that, we're gonna wanna run our wire and connect it, then slide this in. So we're gonna go ahead and mount this to the pole itself. And again, this mounts on lots of different size poles. We're gonna point this due north, which is my open sky that I have available. Well, I hope this works out. Otherwise, we'll run it way out in the yard, but I really don't want it out there. It'll be in the way for me. All right, now we're gonna take our connection, slide that down till it locks in. We may have to move this pole out. Might be gonna catch some of the barn here. I thought it was at more of an angle than this, but you don't know till you try. All right, y'all, it just doesn't get any more simple than that. So here is the slide out on our camper. Campers just don't seal it very well. I was able to easily run the wire in right there. I can go outside and show you that in case you're doing one of these for a camper. You plug your power supply in right there. There's your power supply block, and we happen to have a plug-in right here. So I've got everything tucked underneath the bed. It's connecting right now. I'm gonna go in the app. I've already set this up months ago. I've done unpaused my service, so we're back to the 50 gig a month plan, and we're going to run a speed test. I couldn't even get any speed to show or connect to the speed test via cellular over here because we practically have none. So anything we get now is going to be awesome, but we got to see if the dish is in a really bad location. The barn is blocking it some. All right, as I was afraid, it's saying it appears to be some obstructions taking longer to connect than normal. Make sure you have a clear view of the sky. So seeing how steep this angle is and looking up toward the roof, I'm kind of getting blocked from behind some. So I think the right thing to do, I have enough cable. I may run it all the way out to here, trench and run the wire underneath. I brought a shovel to do that. I want to bear it for mowing reasons and things such as that. And we'll put the dish out there, pointed back toward this open sky, getting it further away from this metal roof, which is probably giving it a problem. All right, so a little bit of an update for you. We just had the pole right there and I could not get it to connect. It sits so flat, the roof was actually bothering it, so it had to have been what it was. So I moved the pole right out to here. From this location to right here. It's about as far as I want to go because I'm actually going to trench and bury my wire since I've ordered a second one. I could just leave it on the ground like this, but I'm afraid squirrels are going to chew it. I don't want to have to disconnect it every time I come through here and run the mower or things such as that. So I'm just going to choose to do a light trench, bury this line temporarily. So you can see I have this set up almost due north, which is that way. I'm slightly to the left. I do have an obstruction all over here, but here is the key. I'm getting good signal here. So for starters, I put in this location before I ran the trench. I suggest doing that in case you're just like I was over here and it says can't connect. Now I feel confident digging and going through the trouble of burying my wire. So here's something worth noting. It connected within just a few minutes of that location right there. So I immediately ran a speed test. I got 190 megabits per second down and like 12 to 15 up with 33 milliseconds on the latency. Really good latency. Plenty good download speeds for multiple devices, TVs, whatever you want. And I got a notice on there that it said it's going to find the best satellites and it takes up to 12 hours and it can improve signal. And it says it basically finds the obstructions for you. I guess as a satellite's tracking across and then gets behind trees, this starts learning, hey, when a satellite gets to this location, there must be obstructions here because I lose signal. So I guess that means the satellite's smart enough to know now to start continuing to connect to satellites in this direction and to try to focus on the open sky. That's amazing. I didn't realize such a cheap satellite dish could do that. And they're not lying. It's only been about 30 to 45 minutes since this is connected. I just ran another speed test. I'm now up to, I think it was 320 megabits per second down. Huge improvement in speed. Latency about the same, upload about the same, but dramatic improvement in download speeds. All right, I want to show y'all something. It's done been hooked up for a couple of hours now. And it's saying, hey, you have some obstructions because it's already built me an obstruction map. It said it could take up to 12 hours to get this, but check this out. Watch as it zooms around. See where the little red dots are? That is those trees right there. It's still actually shooting through the trees just fine, but it's telling me, hey, there's the trees. See as it zooms around going back north, but it's showing a lot of open coverage in sky, and I've been getting really good connection as a result. But isn't that a cool map? It shows you exactly where the obstructions are if you want to move this around. But I'm getting clear enough signal. I'm very happy with this. You can also go into the statistics of the unit. Ping success, 99%, excellent latency, really, really good. And look, outages, zero basically drop signal in the last 15 minutes. I can't ask for any better than that. I don't see any need to move this. Another tip, if you're gonna do like us and travel, maybe kick the TV on, I went in all my apps and set it up to lower quality. Hulu, Netflix, all of them give you examples. If you go to low quality, they say it's around 0.3 gigs per hour. Medium quality, which is where I'm set, is 0.7 gigabits per hour. And if you do higher quality, which is maybe what you want at home or on an unlimited plan, it was 3 gigs per hour. Well, that's really gonna burn through this Starlink data like that, although we don't plan on watching much TV over here. But don't forget, you can go in all your different app settings and lower the quality, still get a good experience for traveling and save that data. All right, so let's have a quick conversation about off-grid, even though we are grid tied over here, but areas where security is needed and, well, you just don't have any signal. Not everybody wants a camera that takes a picture but doesn't notify you, like a game camera, for example. These have been wildly popular on the channels for years, and we use them heavily at all of our properties. And again, to get notified of watching our animals. You know, we were just here staying for the weekend and had our dogs inside. We were right down the river, but we want to be able to look back and make sure they're okay. Again, is there theft at one of your properties or locations? Is there fire? Is there a natural disaster like hurricanes we experienced so many times over the last year and a half, and we couldn't access the property, but we could check on it via camera, feel better, make sure there were no problems. You've got all these reasons why. So we're in an area where you have little to no signal. Well, we've just eliminated that by having Starlink here. So that's where I'm going to, again, not sponsored. This is a dirty old camera I just pulled down from the house, but this is a permanent mount Reolink cameras. Highly recommend Reolink, y'all. They don't have a clue I'm making this video. I've got like 10 of their cameras. They work extremely well, and quite affordable for how well they're made. So this is a permanent mount one here, and because we're in an off-grid location, I can't constantly pull this down and charge the battery. So it's got a solar panel that I'm gonna mount over here on the end, point this back toward the camera. This one also has a spotlight up top that's surprisingly bright. These work at nighttime with or without the spotlight, but you would have basically no color until you turn the spotlight on, and they keep themselves charged around the clock. Now that I have Wi-Fi that's reaching out under the barn, we'll connect this one via Wi-Fi. These are extremely popular cameras right here, Reolink Go PTs. I don't even think this is a current model anymore. They now have an upgraded version of this. I've had these for years. This is a cellular camera right here. See the antenna on it? And it takes right inside here. You lift the cover and you put in a cellular chip, a data chip, much like you would put in the older cell phones that used to take those, and you've got cellular internet. We've got 1 bar of signal over here. While it does not work well for the phones, I'm finding this actually picks up, notifies us via the Reolink app, and we can see recordings as well as real-time footage of what's going on over here. Again, I like having cellular, so if in the event of a hurricane or a power outage, I'll lose my Starlink, I lose power to the camper and I can't get over here, this is still working, communicating with a local cellular tower, and we can still check on the property. This is a redundancy system. Plus, also, you see this one rotates up, down, left, and right. This has pan, tilt, and zoom all done from the app, whether I'm here at the property or not. So this one I can spin around and look up the road, I can look back down the property, or anywhere else. These are wildly popular. All right, back to the cards that go in here real quick. You've got an SD card in here where you can record internally. You can also set up for their cloud service via the app. It is a small fee, and you can have recordings saved online. So if somebody were to steal your camera, for example, and the card that's in there, you've still got the footage saved online. Also inside this head is that SIM card that goes right beneath the SD card. Let's talk about that, because a lot of y'all buy these cameras right here for remote properties, and we need to talk about the SIM cards. I highly recommend you go with the SIM card that's already data only, not for sale, but data only, and set up for these cameras. The one that I use is from a company called FlexiBoom. You can buy these off of their website, off of Amazon, and I get the year plans. They're already loaded, set up, ready to go. You buy the SIM and the data all in one package. Your card shows up. I can't even begin to explain how easy it is. You pop it in this, turn it on, 20 seconds later is usually how long it takes. You hear connection succeeded, you're off and running. Set your camera up via the Reolink app. It couldn't be any easier. Trying to set one of these up on, say, a Verizon plan or a T-Mobile plan, calling a cell phone provider can be a nightmare. They want to set you up with phones and monthly cellular plans. They don't have a clue what cameras are and how to set up like that. If you're going to set up one of these for remote viewing like we do, I think we now have 4 of these, use a data SIM card that's already set up, recognizes the camera, the company recognizes the camera. Again, a company like FlexiBoom, I'll put a link down there where you can get them off of Amazon or their website. It makes it such an easy process. You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have to fight and argue with a cell phone company. We all know how aggravating that is. Plug it in, you're done. You've got a year's worth of data on there. And I have never, out of the 3 or 4 years we've been running cellular cameras, I've never once used up all my data. As long as you don't have this camera in a spot that's constantly being triggered, and you can adjust all that in the Reolink app, by the way, you don't burn through your data. Now, I know all of that sounded like a sales pitch. None of these companies know that I'm promoting them or talking about them. They did not pay me. I've had such good years worth of service using this stuff. A lot of y'all have bought them through our Amazon store and things such as that. It's worth mentioning the features and benefits of them, especially since I've did such long-term testing and had such good luck for remote applications like this. All right, so here we are, 2 cameras set up, 2 solar panels set up. We will probably have to adjust those once the summer sun starts cutting over the building. I'm gonna build a block out right here and stick them out on the edge. But now we've got one, looking back in here, permanent mount with a spotlight, and we've got one that's pan, tilt, and zoom that I can spin and look all the way back under the barn, or all the way down the road, and it can trigger when somebody's coming in. Now we've got cellular and we've got Wi-Fi. redundancy. Backups for my backups, as I always say. So that's gonna make us feel really good about leaving things over here, keep an eye on the property. Couple those two cameras along with all the other stuff that we already have watching, having friends and neighbors literally a couple lots down that could jump right over. We feel really good about watching this, not only for theft, but for fire, again, animals, all those things that you want security cameras for. And that's all a big thanks to Starlink right here. All I need to do is zip tie this wire up. I forgot that. We're trenched and covered underground into the camper. Speaking of, I forgot to show you all how to run the wire into the camper. I've did this before, not with Starlink, but other wires with our last camper. So it's very easy to do. All right, if your camper has a slide, most of them do, they don't seal out very well, which is a bad thing. So if you take a look underneath here, see right here, here's the flaps. There's basically another flap on the inside. You can tuck the wire in on either side, push that flap out, and it just winds up going right into your camper. So you can do that on either side. I didn't have to drill a hole or do anything. And I can pop this out real easy whenever it's time to slide this side back in and move the camper. All right, couple that with a speed test where I was getting 300, like 20 megs down. I'm more than pleased with this. This is super fast, works absolutely anywhere. And if I'm being perfectly honest with y'all, it's my own personal opinion, but I'm speaking it. I think Elon is a man of our times with the things that he's doing for the US and for the world, all his different companies. As passionate as he is, especially for the country I live in, I am more than happy to support this man doing my part. I'm gonna leave this turned on for as long as I need it so he can get the monthly service. What an awesome invention Starlink is right here for people like us in a situation where we really don't have much other options. Cellular does work. Y'all have seen me do a whole series on that, but we're so far away from the towers down here, there's no way I'd be getting 300 something megs down and the ease of use that I'm getting out of Starlink right here. All right, hopefully you learned something. I had no idea a $50 plan existed. What a bargain that is. And again, don't forget you can buy additional data for what I think is a very reasonable price, or you can get their fully unlimited plan. So if you're like us, looking for internet for your RV, camper, for traveling, for multiple locations, this is very hard to beat, especially being that you can buy extra mounts, extra cables, and move this stuff very easily.